Hello friends. Welcome back to my another horror story. Echoes of Desolation horror story. Let's start it. The old Victorian house stood at the edge of town, its towering silhouette looming against the moonlit sky. Locals whispered of its sinister history, a place where darkness clung to every corner like a malevolent spirit. It had been abandoned for decades, its once grand facade now marred by the passage of time and neglect. Intrigued by the rumors, a group of friends decided to spend a night within its walls. John, Sarah, Alex, and Emily gathered their courage and ventured into the heart of the haunted house. The air grew colder as they crossed the threshold, and a heavy silence descended upon them, broken only by the creaking of floorboards beneath their feet. The entrance hall was grand, adorned with faded wallpaper and a grand chandelier that had long lost its luster. As they explored further, they stumbled upon an old family portrait, the eyes of the painted figures seemingly following their every move. Emily shuddered and looked away, unnerved by the lifelike gaze. As midnight approached, the group settled in a dimly lit room, their flashlights casting feeble rays into the shadows. They exchanged nervous glances, trying to dispel the growing sense of unease that gripped them. Alex attempted to break the tension with a joke, but it fell flat in the suffocating atmosphere. As the hours passed, whispers seemed to drift through the air, barely audible yet chilling to the bone. Sarah's flashlight flickered, casting erratic shadows across the walls. She tapped it, hoping to restore its stability, but the shadows seemed to take on a life of their own, dancing and twisting in unnatural ways. A distant thud echoed through the house, followed by a mournful howl of wind. Emily's face paled as she clutched her flashlight, her voice shaking as she spoke. "Did anyone else hear that?" John scoffed, attempting to mask his own fear. "Just your imagination playing tricks on you. This place is old and falling apart." But the thuds grew louder, rhythmic and deliberate, as if footsteps were approaching from somewhere unseen. Panic swept over them, and they stumbled to their feet, their flashlights trembling in their hands. A figure emerged from the shadows, its form indistinct and hauntingly ethereal. Frozen in terror, they watched as the figure drew nearer. Its eyes glowed like smoldering embers, fixing on each of them with an intensity that seemed to pierce their souls. The whispers grew louder, forming words that echoed in their minds like a sinister chant. "Leave, before it claims you!" The room seemed to close in around them, the walls closing in as if to trap them in its nightmarish embrace. Emily's flashlight died, plunging them into darkness. She let out a piercing scream as the figure reached out towards her, its hand cold and spectral. John's flashlight flickered, casting a feeble beam onto the figure. Its features contorted, a grotesque grin forming on its shadowy face. With a burst of adrenaline, the group fled, their footsteps echoing through the house as they raced for the entrance. The mansion seemed to fight against their escape, the doors slamming shut and windows shattering as if to keep them within its clutches. But they pushed forward, driven by sheer terror and desperation, finally bursting through the doors and stumbling out into the moonlit night. Breathless and trembling, they collapsed on the grass outside, their hearts racing as they watched the house. Its windows were dark, its shadows still, as if whatever malevolent force had been unleashed within had returned to its slumber. As dawn broke, the group exchanged haunted glances, their minds still reeling from the horrors they had witnessed. The haunted house had lived up to its reputation, revealing a darkness that defied explanation. They vowed never to speak of that night again, to bury the memory deep within themselves. And so, the haunted house remained a silent sentinel at the edge of town, its secrets and horrors hidden behind closed doors. The memories of that fateful night lingered like a dark cloud, a reminder that some places are best left untouched, their mysteries forever shrouded in darkness. Thank you